Hey everybody, Jeff here from Jazzwire. Good to see you again. All right, so we've got some cool Sonny Rollins for you from the year 1957. I happen to have my Selmer with me. I'm an Eastman artist, but it's in the shop, so I got my Mark VI here. This is a 1955. So maybe Sonny played this on the album. Not quite sure. I'd like to think so. All right, this is off Volume 2, and I'm not going to tell you who the musicians are. You have to guess. So we're going to get into that in just a second. This is a tune called You Stepped Out of a Dream. Now, I have this album. I had the vinyl. I haven't heard it in a long time. I haven't listened to it before today. So here's the thing. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be in Denton, Texas, playing at the Syndicate with the North Texas 3 O'Clock Band. I'm going to be the guest artist with them. So now you missed it because it's past, but trust me, it went great. And this weekend, I'm going to be in Plano, Texas, just outside Dallas, and I'm a special guest at the Collin College Jazz Festival. So that's going to be cool. I'm going to be rehearsing with the faculty ensemble with their big band and doing a special workshop for all of the high school bands that are coming in. So I love doing that work. This is the 5th or 6th one I've done this semester. So if you own a university, if you run a university, if you work at a university, if somebody lets you do something at a university, I'd love to come there and visit you. So yeah, love to come see you next year. This is a song I'm going to be playing with the faculty ensemble. So I've been just, wanted to check out a different version and totally forgot about the Sonny Rollins version. On the album, there's 2 piano players. It says Thelonious Monk and Horace Silver. So that's kind of cool, 2 different great players. And didn't tell me who's playing piano on this track. So you have to guess, is it Monk or is it Sonny Rollins? All right. You also have to guess, is it Elvin Jones, who played a lot with Sonny at this time, or is it Art Blakey? Elvin Jones or Art Blakey. So you have to guess who those are. It's Paul Chambers on bass. I'll give you that. How's that? So you have to guess who the drummer is, who the piano player is. You stepped out of a dream. Let's jump into this. And now, here's what I was listening for. This is kind of the big thing that I want to talk to you about here is this song, and I'll put the lead sheet up over here. There's 2 measures of the tonic chord, and then in measure 3 and 4, it goes up a half step. So it's a different architecture than almost all jazz standards out there, which makes it fun to play. 2 measures of this, then up a half step. So now I want to know also J.J. Johnson is on this on trombone. So how do the soloists handle that? Do they play an idea and then transpose it up? Do they play through that? Do they do contrary? Like, what's their approach to a chord that goes up a half step? Here's the other thing. In measures, the last 2 measures of the first half of the tune, which is measures 15, 16, there's a 2-5, and then what does it do? It goes down, 2-5, and then it goes down a half step to another 2-5. So there's another half step motion. And then right after it, we get that 2 measures of a major chord, 2 measures going up. So 3 times every chorus, there's this half step architecture. And so that happens to be something I've been thinking about, something I've been practicing. How do I want to handle that? And now, as a more advanced player, that's something you'll be thinking about. Oh, here's a 2-5-1. At some point, we just want to do no harm, right? I hope I don't screw this up. Great, that's a really good approach. Do that. Don't wipe out and sound bad. At some point, it'll be like, oh, do I want to do a tritone sub? Or do I want to do an upper minor third thing? Or do I want to side slip with pentatonics? Or should I do that altered thing that I remember I heard Freddie Hubbard do? Or so like now it's like all these possibilities. Ooh, I wonder what Sonny Rollins did on this. Okay, so that's the way we're going to be listening. So I'm listening to specifically to measures 1, 2 to 3, 4. I'm listening to measure 15 to 16, and then I'm listening to 17, 18, going to 19, 20. Those half-step moments in the tune. Yeah, because as I play this tune, I want to bring more than just one approach to some of the progressions. So that's an interesting way to think, right? If you're a drummer, if you're a bass player, you could be thinking specifically to how the drummer is handling a moment in the tune. Or how do they transition? How do they build energy? When do they walk and when do they play in 2? All that kind of stuff, right? That's what we can get from listening a little deeper. Let's jump into it. This is You Stepped Out of a Dream. Sonny Rollins, J.J. Johnson, Paul Chambers, and either Monk or Horace Silver, you'll tell me, and Elvin Jones or Art Blakey? You'll tell me. Here we go. So what do you think? Is that Monk? Or is that Horace Silver? All right, so Sonny is playing the melody and JJ is doing fills behind him. And that's where it goes up a half step. So it wasn't quite clear. Sonny jumped in and measured 3. Not sure what he did there. So now coming up. So both of those half-step moments, he didn't transpose anything exactly. Here's the top. Wow, some cool drumming behind him. Speaking of drums, Elvin Jones or Art Blakey? That was a cool Sonny Rollins where I think he transposed that idea a bit. He hasn't done that yet. So there was a repeated note that went up a half step. That was cool. And the repeated note, very Sonny Rollins thing to do. So he's not repeating ideas up a half step the way we might expect. He's doing it some, but not a lot. Repeated note. You hear what I mean about repeating that idea up a half step? JJ just did it in spades right there. Yeah, so JJ kind of 3 for 3 times has done that, repeating the idea up a half step. It's a beautiful sound. Here comes the next option. Oh, so he didn't repeat there. Those drum fills. Does that sound like Elvin? Nope. So there's another transposed idea. It's cool, right? Good thing to listen for. And the beginning of that piano solo, played an idea, played another idea up a half step. I don't have perfect pitch. I don't have very good relative pitch. But I can hear when a shape gets repeated. Oh, there's a triangle, there's another triangle. I can see that. I'm not an art history major, but I can see that, right? So here comes another time. Let's see what this piano player does. So they continued the idea. That was interesting. Yeah, cool. Does that sound like Monk? No. So there was a little repetition between those two measures. And I just talked over another repetition. Man, some serious bow playing. Wow. Yeah, so he's more like Sonny, where he's not playing stuff up a half step. He's playing new material. So Sonny did the repetition thing there. Quoted Laura, the song Laura. Check this out. then Sonny answered him, kind of did a loose quote of the song Laura again. So we're trading fours with drums, right? Oh, but now not with drums. The horns are trading. So he hinted at the architecture there. Did you hear that shift? How in the bass, Paul Chambers was walking and they were swinging hard for the trading, but when it back to the melody, they dialed the energy down. The big shift was his going to a 2 feel. It's 2. Shift into 4 there to build it up. Right, so that ending, that's what we call, oh my God, we didn't talk about how we're going to end this thing. That was, yeah, that was like 6 different endings that all happened at the same time. But those are pros who, have faked an ending before. But yeah, that was not sorted out, or they forgot what they were going to do, or, whatever. But probably half the gigs I've been on have been like, oh, right, yeah, how are we going to end this thing? And you sort it out, right? And that's what they did there. Lots of cool stuff going on there. So I made a big deal about the cool moment of that song. I think if you ask 10 jazz musicians, they'll all point to the half-step nature of what's going on in there, because everything else is kind of straightforward 2/5. So when I'm listening to somebody play the tune, I'm attuned to where those happen. I can see the lead sheet in my head. I know where those changes are because I know the song. And so I'm interested in how they handle it. And it's not like there's right and wrong. So J.J. Johnson, more often than not, would play something ba-ba-doo-doo-doo-doo, ba-ba-doo-doo-doo. He'd take it up a half step. And the changes do that. They're kind of begging for it. And it sounds so good. It sounds so motivic and thoughtful when we do it. Sonny was playing through it more often than not. Who knows? What's his thinking? So he likes the through composed thing, or he's played that song so many times by transposing up, he was challenging himself to not be bossed around by the chords. Who knows, right? The piano player, well, I think we can say that was Horace Silver. So you guys hear that dinging, or is it just me? Maybe my implant is, I don't have an implant. Yeah, it wasn't, that wasn't Monk. We didn't hear all the space and all the quirky, the quirky voicings in the whole tone scale. And, that's pretty reductive stuff. Maybe that's the Monk Institute dinging me right now. So, not to boil Monk down to 3 things, but there were things we hear in his playing that we didn't hear there. And so even if I don't know what Horace Silver sounds like, it wasn't Monk. I guess it was Horace Silver, and it was. So the drummer, it was Art Blakey. Wow. It was Art Blakey. Elvin Jones would have been playing in a looser way, more of a triplet thing. We heard a lot of fast rolls around the drum set. Not that Elvin doesn't do it, but there were some, if you know Art Blakey's language, we were hearing Blakey's language and something about his drive, something about that precision that he plays with. And Elvin has a little more elbow room in his feel or something. So it's kind of a cool thing to do when you're listening, play that either or game. And it'll allow you to sort of begin to identify musicians and who it is and who it definitely isn't, and all that kind of stuff. And this idea of listening to a song with a goal, like that moment in the song. What do they do at that moment? The Bridge of Stella by Starlight. How do they treat the chord in measure 17? That's the chord everybody's always asking about. Listen, and you don't even necessarily have to go and transcribe it, but just notice the vibe, the emotion. Is it fast? Is it slow? Those sort of things. That's what guided listening is all about. All right. Well, I appreciate you tuning in here, and I hope we're going to see you at one of the 3 summits coming up. We have a Jazzwire Summer Summit in Edmonton, Canada, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and our flagship in here in the DC area in June and July. So you can visit the website, get all the dates. We're starting to get booked up. We're already 40% booked up for all three of these workshops. So I hope I'll have an opportunity to work with you coming up soon. Have a great week.